Good morning. It's Ginny and Tim at DSTech in the beautiful Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and we are bringing you on our DSTech tips topic today. That's a lot of T's.
Yep.
Tech gifts for mom. I'm going to love this topic.
Yes.
You can buy me a gift. So anyway, but before we do, make sure you go to our website to sign up for any free assessments you want and to find our newsletter. And you can always email us and drop us questions so that we can answer them on our videos. So What do we got? We got a list of at least 10 things 10 ideas for mom.
Yep. So going through them, I'll just go through the list rather quickly maybe, and then we can hit each one more in detail, or do you want to just take each one as we go? Yeah, whatever.
Can I just interrupt you?
Yes.
I'll just interrupt you as you go.
Okay.
Because I'm sure I'll have ideas too as we go.
So the first one is getting some sort of a smartwatch. So if you have that mother who hasn't gotten a smartwatch yet, who may be reluctant to because it's
she wants a new one.
Exactly. Those are definitely a big thing, because if you don't have one, a lot of the different things it can do, where it starts tracking, your steps and all the different things. You can have reminders for yourself when you're doing a lot of stuff throughout the day. There's a lot of different benefits to having one that you might not even know you're missing if you don't have one, or then just getting the new one if you already have one. The next model that'll have all the different stuff. So what are some of the features that you use?
Yeah, I use the fitness tracker. I literally just tell it I'm going for a run, and then even if I'm just walking, because then it alerts me that I went a mile or 2 miles or whatever.
That's cool.
So that's cool. And then I use the stopwatch on it, and I use the timer. I use the alarm, and it just buzzes so it doesn't wake my husband up. That's cool, right? Yeah. So there's lots of things that I use it for.
Cool. Another common one is going to be an e-reader. So if she does a lot of reading, even if it's not just for fiction, but maybe you want to get recipe books, whatever it is, if you get a digital e-reader, you can then start buying ebooks and loading them for secondary gifts that you can then bundle into it as well. And then also they'd have the access to all of that. So if they don't have a Kindle already or another type of e-reading device, definitely consider that, or look at maybe upgrading the one they have if they haven't gotten a new one in a while. Some of the new ones, better features, better battery life, all that kind of stuff. So those are good as well. If they like music as well, there's also the Bluetooth speakers or some sort of like noise canceling headphones, depending on what they like to do. If you're going outdoors a lot, you don't mind the extra music, having a little Bluetooth speaker is nice, just to have music playing around off your playlist, wherever you're at, versus if they're always in like a noisier environment, they want to just kind of get away. Sometimes the noise canceling headphones are good. So when you're doing laundry, the kids are yelling, whatever, you can just throw on your music and listen for a little bit. If you don't need to be bugged, that can be really helpful as well. So.
I love the earbuds and stuff that are compatible with my phone. Okay. So yeah, I can tune everybody out and listen to whatever I want.
Yeah, helps you focus.
And also I listen to books while did we talk about that?
Oh yeah, Audible subscription is down the list as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of ties into that as well. With the e-reader, you can also have, an Audible, which is audiobook subscriptions, which is also good because then you get the books, you just listen to them. Great for like road trips, that kind of thing, or just background noise too.
While I'm doing the dishes, while I'm cooking, I like to tune in to stuff while I'm doing mindless tasks.
It makes the time kind of go by a little bit faster and kind of gets your mind off of, doing this and kind of. No, yeah, for
Most of the stuff I do is nonfiction, because I'm learning something, right?
Okay.
So, but if I do want to just like zone out, then it would be a fictional story of some kind.
Okay.
But yeah, for sure. Cool. That's a good one, guys.
I did put on here a fitness tracker, so it kind of ties into the smartwatch. But if you have someone that's really into exercise,
that's a different thing.
You may get them consider getting an actual fitness tracker that specializes in just that activity, because then it'll track all kinds of stuff like sleep, walking, if they do group exercise classes, if they do the individual running, all that kind of stuff. It can get way more into the details of the individual, and then it kind of tracks your progress over time, your calories burned, all that kind of stuff. So a lot more details if they want to focus on just the exercise aspect of it.
My son has one that's specifically, it's a GPS tracker. So it tracks, it works with, what's the name of the software?
Probably like Garmin maybe, or?
No, I forgot it. Well, whatever. It tracks his elevation and how far he's gone and everything. It's really cool. And runners love it because it can help them reach their best time, per mile. Yep. So it gives you more knowledge of what's going on when you're running instead of just running. But runners love it.
Lisa's, it'll show her the breakdown per mile, and then
Yeah.
she could see after she does, say, a 10-mile run, it'll have all your mile breakdown individual, and then your oxygen level, your heart rate, so you can see, oh, I was pushing myself too hard. It gets really into the details if you're that kind of person.
Yep.
With the fitness tracker that you don't necessarily get with the smartwatch. It's good for the basic, but if they really like that, the tracker is definitely the way to go.
Smartwatch is more like all the features, right?
Yeah.
Except not in that much detail.
Yeah, where the fitness tracker is like the specialized version of that. So, yeah, and then another one that people typically like are the digital photo frames. So if they have lots of photos, friends and family, things like that, it's nice to get the digital photo frames. The newest ones now are pretty neat where they actually, some of them have like cloud subscriptions, and you can actually upload photos to the cloud. It'll then sync back down to the device so you can change the photos automatically very easily as well, instead of having to like load manual photos into them now.
Oh, okay, so I wonder if one would connect to Amazon Photos, because if you have Prime, you have unlimited photo storage.
I would think they're probably starting to create interaction. Some of them got to have that, because the idea is like, you buy a photo frame for grandma or someone who might not be, photo savvy, and then like every week or month you can just go and change the photos for her that she's seeing, and she doesn't need to even change it, but she's getting new photos every single, week or whatever you're doing for her. So that's
cool, because I used to have to send my mom a new USB drive.
Right. Put the stick in the photo frame. Yep.
Here's your new pictures.
Yep. So they're trying to make that more seamless.
That's cool.
With anything, just getting a brand new phone, if their smartphone's getting older, kind of getting, 4 or 5 years old, sometimes getting just a new smartphone can be good. Sometimes if you wait till there's the trade-in deals is where I always recommend, because they are kind of pricey, but if you wait till the Mother's Day sale, Black Friday sale, whatever it is, you can do a trade-in deals usually and get a good phone. It'll make everything run faster. A lot of times you don't realize how slow your old phone is until you get a new one, and then you're like, wow, I was dealing with that older phone going really slow for a while and you didn't really realize.
Or the battery dies as soon as you're out on the ice because it's cold.
Yeah, your battery starts lasting, an hour now instead of 3 days like it should. That
right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So battery life, that's a big one.
Now, what I usually do is we usually get like the one model back.
Yes.
On, like a gently used phone, right? So, I mean, it still is good because it's not old, but it's not the newest, latest, greatest.
I've always kind of done that where, the latest gaming card or the latest whatever, it's, the flagship as they call it, it's always so much more expensive for the performance that you're getting that you're always better off kind of going one generation or two generations ago. And because the amount of money you save versus the performance, it's cost effective in that.
And for me as a mom, right, I love taking pictures.
Yep.
So for me, it was the camera that was the most important. And then the last, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 models of Pixels, the camera was the same anyway.
So there's no difference in bothering there. Yep.
Now, I did hear that Samsung has it. You have it. Do you have it?
My Samsung is pretty old. It's like an S8.
It is.
So it's got nothing new.
Somebody showed me their new Samsung phone, and it was really cool.
Yeah, some of the new capabilities in the new phones are pretty wild, what they can do. And
the camera was amazing. I was like, what? I mean, you could zoom in. Anyway.
Yep.
So, yeah, Mom would like a new phone, too.
Yep, because all the pictures that go along with it, all that kind of stuff, definitely. Then kind of going with the phone, depending whether you have an iPhone device or an Android device, they have the tags or the tiles, respectively. They're just basically little tracking things you can put, and then with an app, you can see where things are. So, for example,
my keys.
Your keys, you could put a little tag on a little keychain if you wanted to. Remote, little things like that. My one friend, he's got one on his dog. That way, if his dog
that's a good idea.
If his dog ever gets run away or something like that, it's got it on the collar, and then you can track the dog very easily. So it kind of just depends.
I have kind of a story too. There was one of my friends, her mom is getting dementia, and she put one in her purse. So
that way,
when
she's gone anywhere.
She was not at the house, she was like, "Oh gosh, where is she?" And she tracked her down and was able to find her. So it comes in a lot. It's a handy thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. So those are.
So Mom can have that too. Get me a new phone and some tags.
A couple tags to put on things that she loses frequently or whatever. And exactly. Going with all these different electronic devices, there's also, they call them the battery banks. So they have it's usually a little square device, a little bit bigger than your cell phone. You can get really tiny ones as well, but typically I recommend get a little bit bigger one, like a 20 mAh, which will 20,000, which will charge the phone like 8, 9 times over, so it'll last a good long while. And my advice with buying the battery bank is you can find some on Amazon or online for like $20. But if you're charging an $800 phone with a $20 battery bank, my advice is spend a little bit more, get a brand name like Anchor, which you're like, why does this one cost twice as much as the others? It's just the internal components are rated for a higher wattage and they're able to charge it. Like I have a Steam Deck and I have a laptop. They usually typically require 45 or 65 watts of charging power. And if you try to charge that off a battery bank, it doesn't have enough juice for it and you can cause damage. So you want to make sure you have a battery bank that is rated high enough for what you're trying to charge. Typically, if you're just doing cell phones, very basic items, standard battery bank will be okay. But if you're starting to charge like tablets, higher end devices, definitely you want to get that better battery bank, because in my opinion, it's like you're charging these $1,800 devices. Are you going to use a $20 thing that can cause issue, or are you going to just spend a little bit more money and get a nicer battery bank that you know is going to be more rated? So that's my advice. Most people tend to save some money, so I've done it too. But if you have the means and the ability to, spend the money on a nicer battery bank.
I did too. I did that too. And those little ones.
Yep.
They take forever, and half the time they didn't even work.
We had one blow up on us.
Oh, lovely.
Thankfully, it wasn't it. It was Lisa was just in the bed, and I yelled at her all the time, don't use the battery banks in the bed, because it was just my little thing. I just know how that, they're little, the batteries in them can swell, do things like that. So anyway, she was using it one night, and all of a sudden, boom, it was like a cheap $20 one we got on AliExpress or whatever it was. You know what I mean? So it just, over time, I think it was 4 or 5 years old, and it did pop instantly. We made sure it wasn't going to get anything on fire in the bed real quickly. I moved it onto the hard floor, and then I got out, because when a lithium battery explodes, you have gases that are emitted during that too. I had to get out, open the window real quick, but thankfully we were fine. There was no fires or anything like that. But the battery banks, just spend the extra money to get one that's not going to, blow up in your bed when you're in there. That was a very frightening experience, and definitely not going to go cheap now going forward with ours.
My husband got one that was way more expensive. It's a big bulky one, but it is so nice. It charges your phone in no time, and it works in the cold weather. And he actually got it so that he could plug in his LED lights that we put in the hole. Yep. For the fish, to attract fish and stuff like that. But it works so well. And I wish I remembered the name of it, but I don't. It's one of the name brands, and it was a good one. Right. So it's worth it. Yes. Worth it to get the good one.
Definitely. And the last one is basically just, smart devices, in the kitchen and stuff. So whether, we're looking at, Alexa, you want to just basic Google or whatever your flavor is. I guess you can just go on a roll. Like, how is it handy for you? Like, if you're trying to, say, create a meal, or you're cooking or doing something, you're like, oh wait, we need extra potatoes. Add potatoes to the list, that kind of thing.
Constantly, I'm in the kitchen and I'll see that I'm getting low on something, and I just yell at her. I say, hey Alexa, put cornstarch on my list, and she'll add it. And then when I do, and I tell the kids and the hubby to go ahead and tell her, I'm like, tell her to put it on the list so I have it. And then even when I'm away, when I bring up my phone and my shopping list, it's all there. Right. And that way anyone can add to it. It's so convenient. Yeah. That's my favorite thing about it. I mean, you can ask her about the weather and all kinds of stuff, but
just kind of keeping that list of inventory and stuff really helps. And yeah, no, that's really cool. And then do you use it at all, like with cooking and stuff? I don't have a smart device, so I don't know. But can you hey, give me a couple recipes?
I use my tablet for that.
Okay.
For sure, I use my tablet for that. I'll bring it up on my tablet in my kitchen. I don't have to print out recipes constantly. And my husband likes to use it to watch YouTube, because he'll literally just say, because it's connected to our Fire Stick, so he'll just say, hey Alexa, search for fishing trout streams in the UP or whatever, and she says sure, and she brings it up on YouTube, and then he can just play the videos or whatever. Cool. So there's lots of uses.
So if you don't already have one, getting a smart device, whatever. If you don't have one already, do you have a preference? You use the Amazon?
I use Amazon just because it's connected to all my
your other stuff you have already now. Okay.
Right. And that's what we started with. Now I've seen other people use the Google Home, and what's nice about the Google one is that when you ask it a question, it knows more answers
than Alexa does.
Alexa doesn't know a lot.
Right. Okay.
I'm like, what are you talking about? If I
So
ask her.
if you have a lot of Amazon stuff already, it may be worth just going that route then with the Alexa,
Yeah.
so it'll tie with your existing. But it sounds like if you want to go fresh off out of the gate, maybe go to the Google Home ones that have
Maybe.
more information, might be better for your use case. Just the best thing would be to evaluate what subscriptions that they're currently using, and then just get the device that matches, and we'll work with that the best.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. So I think that's most of my list that I had here for different techs,
So hopefully my kids watch this so I can have some new devices because I'm a tech geek and maybe your mom is too. I don't know, but that's good stuff. All right. So happy Mother's Day when it comes, and we'll see you on the next DS Tech Tips episode.
Sounds good.
All right. Go to our website, dstech.net, drop us questions, sign up for your free security assessment, and make it a great day.